I'm Jeff Tackney.
I'm Jen Tackney,
And
we are
we're
Team
Team
Tackney. Who do we have today, Jeff?
We have Joshua Lindsay,
And
contractor to the stars,
Also,
planning commissioner for the city of Garden Grove.
our favorite city, Garden Grove. We love all cities in North Orange County. We just happen to be Garden Grove residents, just like Josh.
Yep.
And we love Garden Grove, and we love Josh Lindsay, and he's here to tell us
Oh, thanks, guys.
All about ADUs.
accessory dwelling units. So we have a little bit of knowledge about it just because we went through the process to build an ADU. Want to say we bought our house in 18 that we built the ADU on. So in 17 was when the government did their very first bill of allowing for an accessory dwelling unit, and we built it. Little background, I'm an only child, and so my parents, I wanted to, Jeff, thank you for that, have a place where if they needed care or something that they would be able to have their own room and a room for a caregiver. And so it was 800 square feet, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, full kitchen, which was allowed in 2017. And we did actually have to show a place for a parking spot in 2017. So then there was an overlay that we talked about on our last junior ADU video. So if you want to know more about junior ADUs, that's in the last video, that somewhere in our video library you can find it. And the ADU is on specifically on this video, and that's where the bill has the overlay of you can now have 3 units on 1 parcel of land.
Yeah, it's gotten way less restrictive since you guys did yours. Way less restrictive. And a lot of that had to do with, like I said in the last video, with the Emergency Housing Act of 2019, which does sunset at a point in time. I can't remember exactly the date that it sunsets, but it does sunset at some point in time.
And can you explain so see how Jeff, who also has a general contracting license, knew what sunset meant? And he
Yeah, my
was
little
just
ears
like,
perked up.
oh wow.
Yep.
Now me, without a general contracting license, strictly a realtor and human, what does sunset mean?
Well, it means that this is under emergency guidelines, and it's a kind of an emergency order because of what they're claiming is the housing shortage that we have in Southern California and California in general. So it's to help to eliminate the burden that the housing shortage is causing. And I want to say it's 2028, 29, that it may sunset. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that one, but I do know that it does sunset at some point in time.
Okay, and I think that's what when Jeff, it was really a stretch for us to build an ADU. We didn't necessarily have it in our budget, but because that original one, Jeff was like, we need to do this before it goes away. And so that makes sense that it is something that time is of the essence on, because especially if we do start getting more home builders again in California, then yeah, that it could go away. So with an ADU, from what Jeff had mentioned to me, let's say we have a 1,300 square foot house. How big of an ADU can they build?
So if it's attached, if you're doing an attached ADU, I believe it is 800 square feet.
Okay.
If you're doing a detached ADU, it's up to 1,200 square feet.
Wow.
Okay.
So a full second house.
You could build I have one that I'm in the process of going through the plans and everything else, and the original house is only 850 square feet, but the ADU is going to be 1,200 square feet.
Wow. 50% bigger than the original house.
50% bigger than the original house.
And so is the ADU 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, or are there
It is
any guidelines?
No, it is 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a 1-car garage.
Okay, so is the garage required?
No, the garage is not required. The way that this lot happens to be set up, it is a shallow, wide lot instead of a narrow, deep lot.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So whenever it comes to ADUs, my biggest question that I get is parking. Okay, well, what about the neighbors and the parking? Parking is not required for an ADU. So you could have 4 bedrooms. Let's just say that you have a 1,400 square foot 4-bedroom house already. And now you're going to build a 1,200 square foot house with 3 bedrooms in the back, which you could actually, in reality, you could go with 4 bedrooms on the ADU as well. on the
Wow.
1,200 square foot ADU. Well, that's a lot of cars. And it is a lot of cars. But the state says parking cannot be taken as a consideration for the approval or denial of an ADU. Really, the world would have to split in order to be able to deny an ADU at this point in time.
Wow.
Interesting, very interesting. And then a setback. So for those of you watching the video, a setback is how far from, let's just say the block wall or the property line, how far back you would have to be. And when we built ours, we had to show that we would have 1,500 square feet of grass behind the ADU.
Once
I know
again,
that's wrong.
no
That's
longer taken
there.
into consideration.
So what, in the city of Garden Grove only, what are the setbacks as far as off of the back of the property line, side of property line, and how close can it be to the existing single-family residence?
Okay, so as far as the property line goes, most of our houses around here have telephone wires. So part of the process whenever you're doing an ADU is you have to pull what is it, the deed?
Preliminary title report.
Preliminary title report, thank you. You have to pull a preliminary title report and you have to get the easements that Edison requires of you. Guidance wise, it says 4 feet off of the sidewall and 4 feet off of the back wall.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, Edison, most of their encroachment or most of their easement may be 4 or maybe 5 or 6 feet. You can submit to Edison and ask for a reduction within that setback space. A lot of the times they will issue it, but it adds another couple of months onto the permitting process because the city's not going to accept it until you have your easement encroachment through Edison before they're even going to take it past the planning department.
Okay, excellent. That's interesting. I didn't realize you could do that with an easement, and sometimes there's 10-foot easements. Okay, great. Thanks, Josh. How can you walk us through the permitting process? And let's say I'm a homeowner. I've called you for my Garden Grove ADU. What does it look like? What are we gonna? How long is it gonna take? Who else do we have to get involved as
Sure.
far as all that?
Sure. Okay, so let's just say my phone rings. I answer the phone, schedule an appointment to come meet with you, and we go and we talk about what direction it is that you want to go, what it is that you're out to accomplish. Is it for mom and dad, or is it for son, daughter, and their 2 kids? Okay, who is this ADU being built for, or is it purely being built just as a rental property on a rental property?
We're gonna say that it is for income, rental property on a rental property.
Okay, so you want to maximize your investment.
Yes.
Okay, so then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sit down and talk to you, and we're gonna go over what the different parameters are. Then I'm gonna put you and give you a rough price of roughly what I think that it's going to cost to accomplish.
Okay.
If you're okay with the rough cost that it is that I gave you, then I'm going to call my architect, and I'm going to have my architect come out, and we're going to sit down and we're going to start having a discussion about what it is that we discussed.
Okay, I have to stop you there because I know that people watching are going to be asking for that rough price. Just maybe price per square foot. I mean, I know it's hard for you to say, but let's talk permitting cost alone. How much will it be? Because I know when we permitted the ADU, we were also adding square footage to the original house, so we don't have a real idea of, okay.
And you guys, and they also made you pay parking offsets, and they made you pay all kinds of fees.
The school fees.
School
that you
fees
get.
are common.
Right,
Yeah.
the 35. I think it was $3,500 to Garden Grove Unified.
Yeah, it's
School
like
District.
$4 and something cents a square foot for after you're over 500 square feet.
Yeah.
Because everything is subject to change, and obviously if they
It's all
watch this
situational.
video,
It's all
to
situational.
use-
It's all situational.
It's all situational. So just
I get calls so often of how much is it a square foot. Well, what are we building? Where are we building it? How's the roof line look? There's a million different variables that come into it.
and that can be the answer, right? So that is the answer. So I just wanted to make sure as someone's watching and they go, okay, what's the cost?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Gotcha.
the cost is very individualized. Some people like very expensive tile for their bathrooms. We don't know who that would be. So
I do as well.
obviously, yes, right. Makes everything different. So the
Agreed.
cost, so the cost is going to be very individualized, and the permits, we have things like school tax that come into place, and an extra cost for an ADU permit that would be different than a cost for just adding square footage. Is that
No, there
fair to
really
say?
isn't anymore.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, great.
That's good to know.
That's very good to know.
And so if you're interested in building an ADU, best thing to do is talk to Josh. He'll ask you some questions. He'll get a feel for what you already have as far as construction of your home, and then he can give you much more detailed estimation as far as the cost is concerned.
So we've agreed to Josh's estimate, essentially. Then we have the architect render drawings.
Well, my architect is a sub that works for me. He pretty much only works for me.
Okay.
But he is a separate entity than me. He requires a deposit in order to start drawing. Let's just say that it would be $1,000 deposit. I'm going to use arbitrary numbers here, but let's just say that it's $1,000 deposit for him to start drawing. He's going to pull a bunch of measurements, give an initial drawing of the floor plan. Usually he'll do 2 or 3 different versions of what it is that he sees within that space, and then we all have another meeting. We sit down. We start going, I like this of this part, this of this part, this of this part, and then we start putting it together. He and I will have a conversation before that meeting, and we'll usually FaceTime or get together and kind of brainstorm of which direction we feel that this project is going to go. He's looking at it from a design perspective. I'm looking at it from a cost efficiency building perspective.
Okay.
Okay. So once we do that, then we sit down, we take the page and we go through and we draw up the lines. He then goes back to his office, compiles it all together again into a substantial single drawing, and then we sit down again and make sure that everybody's on the same page. Okay. And if we need to do any minor adjustments at that point in time, then we do minor adjustments at that point in time. Once again, whenever he's sitting there drawing it all up, he and I are in communication usually in the middle of the night, because that's whenever we're both free to sit down without any interruptions or anything else and go through all this stuff. Then once we have that drawing and we all are on the same page, then he will send that drawing to the engineer and the Title 24 company for a bid of what it's going to cost to draw the actual drawings. As well as he has to sit down and look up what it's going to, or figure out how long it's going to take him to draw all of these drawings, because it's a whole submittable set of plans. He puts it all together as a proposal, and then he sends it to the homeowner, whoever the homeowner may be. If they agree to it, then we start drawing, and once he starts drawing and I get the first set back from the engineer, then I can kind of zone in and hone in on the actual price, because now I know what it is that I'm building and exactly what it is that I'm building. I know what lumber is going where, what sizes of timbers or what. And then he will submit that to the city. The city, I haven't seen one job yet that the city didn't mark up those plans and send them back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They have to justify their existence, so they put some marks, whether it be, move this here, move that there, whatever it may be, and then he gets it back, makes the corrections. Once he's made those corrections, now I can do a formal proposal with the exact costs.
Okay.
Now I know exactly what it is that we're building. I know exactly what it is that the city is looking for. And I can break down and get all of my lumber lists and all of my window lists and put all the prices and pull all the prices from all of my subcontractors together and formally write it out.
And then I know with COVID and supply chain issues, this next question is going to be difficult to answer, but let's just say, perfect, if I'm the homeowner and I say, okay, Josh, when will my ADU be complete? What would a perfect scenario be time wise, or what do you quote to homeowners?
Depending on the ADU, if it's I'm going to jump into JADUs. If it's a JADU, 2.5 to 3 months, and I'm done. As long as I can get all of the appliances. Appliances are the biggest ones that are delayed, and the delays can be huge. I've had them to where I was waiting for a range and a dishwasher literally for a year.
Yes, don't get us started with appliances as realtors, because I will never stop talking about the challenges with appliances in real estate. Maybe we'll do a whole video on just appliances.
You know, Windows is another one that I want to say, like, Milgard windows are about 3 months out right now. So once we start talking and we're all in agreement and we're going to go down that path, I want to order windows as fast as humanly possible.
Okay.
Because it's one of those things that I kind of need towards the beginning of construction. Not right at the very beginning, but I need them at the beginning of construction. And then cabinets also can have a tremendous delay. But it's windows, cabinets, and appliances, which are key components to a house.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
They really are key components to a house. But, you know, it's a microwave, it's a hot plate, and it's trying to do the best that you can for the person.
That brings up a question. So when you're building something and it's from the ground up, you need a certificate of occupancy.
You do need a certificate of occupancy.
So could you do that without a dishwasher and without a stove?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so that's helpful. So you could essentially be done and finalized and still waiting for appliances.
Correct. Now,
Okay.
an ADU, if you're building a whole new structure, you're going to go anywhere from 4 to 6 months
Okay.
for a whole new structure, especially with inspections and everything else. And like currently, right now, Garden Grove's inspection times are 2 weeks out. Not that long ago, they were over a month out.
Yes.
Wow.
And that throws a major delay. And our inspectors are doing the best that they can, but with us having 40% of the county's ADUs, they're overwhelmed. To put it bluntly, they're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to account for because some weeks you have a ton of inspections, other weeks you may be a little lighter. So I know that the city does outsource their inspections, and they have contracted inspectors as well as in-house inspectors. But we aren't the only city that's building ADUs, and construction is going off right now. So it's very difficult to find people, just like it is at any restaurant or anything else.
Got it. Well, you've answered so much of our ADU questions. Do you have any other questions or anything, Jeff?
No, thank you. I just want to say thank you very much, Josh, for being here and answering all of our questions and taking the time to do so. Like I said, if you're interested in building an ADU, I would highly recommend calling, getting in contact with Josh and running your ideas by him, and he'll run some ideas by you, and he's a fantastic contractor, and you'll be in good hands.
Yep. Contact him for all of your Garden Grove construction needs. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment below with any questions, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Sorry. All right, start over.
Sorry.
I couldn't help it. So we do have some blooper reels. Hey there, neighbors!
Hi, I'm Jeff Tackney.